It's 4:20 a.m., October 27, 2025. In the middle of the South China Sea, near 12.2 degrees north, 114.5 degrees east, silence rules the deep. Then, a faint ping rolls through the hull of USS Missouri, a Virginia-class attack submarine gliding hundreds of feet below. The sonar tech stops breathing. 6 distinct contacts appear, closing fast. Alarms flare red. Calm blue screens explode into motion. Multiple surface ships inbound bearing 015. Within seconds, the crew snaps to battle stations. No shouting now, just controlled urgency. The captain's voice cuts through. Silent running, all transmitters off. Above them, 6 Chinese warships tighten into a hunting circle and flood the water with active sonar. The ocean turns into a cage of sound. The message is clear: surface now, or be forced up. One click too loud and Missouri is pinned. One wrong move, and this standoff stops being cold. Down here, quiet isn't safety. Quiet is the only weapon they have left. The South China Sea isn't just water, it's a global artery. Every tanker and cargo ship that crosses here keeps factories running and shelves stocked from Tokyo to Los Angeles. That's why USS Missouri patrols these depths. Not to start a fight, but to watch, record, and warn if that flow is threatened. But this morning, quiet surveillance turns into a trap. 6 Chinese warships, led by the Type 055 destroyer Nanchang, spread out and lock the area like a steel net. 2 destroyers move wide, 2 frigates seal the flanks, and a fast corvette circles the center. None of it is random, it's a coordinated wall of pressure. Their message is simple: you're in our waters, surface and submit. The US view is just as firm. This is international sea, open to all. That's the real collision tonight. Not missiles, but claims. If Missouri surfaces, Beijing can claim victory. If she refuses, the standoff could ignite in seconds. Inside the sub, everyone knows the math. 1 submarine against 6 surface ships. Dozens of sonar pings cut through the dark. 1 wrong echo, and a Chinese anti-submarine rocket could strike within a minute. No help will reach them in time. Yet the stakes go far beyond survival. If Missouri is forced up, China proves it can control who dives and who doesn't, a blow to US credibility across the Pacific. Manila watches, Tokyo watches, Canberra watches. The captain studies the display, the circle tightening. "We hold position," he says quietly. "Let them make the first mistake. Down here, patience is power. Silence is pressure. If you were in command, would you strike back or stay hidden? Press 1 to fight your way out, or 9 to vanish and make them sweat." 4:23 a.m., 3 minutes since contact. The sea above is alive with sound. Each Chinese ship sweeps its sonar like a hammer, pounding the water column, searching for the ghost below. Inside USS Missouri, every light is dimmed, every breath controlled. The crew wears headsets, listening to the sea like hunters in reverse prey waiting for the predator to slip. 6 contacts confirmed, reports sonar. Range, closing fast. The captain leans over the display. Rig for ultra quiet, pumps off, no active systems. The submarine drops deeper, its hull creaking softly as pressure builds. One of the destroyers, Shining 117, fires a burst of sonar buoys. They splash across the surface, forming a detection grid. Within seconds, their signals flood the deep with synthetic echoes, overlapping like ripples on glass. "Countermeasures ready," the weapons officer whispers. The captain nods. "Hold, not yet." At 700 feet, the sub levels off. She slips beneath a layer of cold water, the thermal barrier known as the shadow zone. It bends sonar waves upward, hiding the submarine beneath a layer of distorted sound. Above, Chinese operators shout into headsets. Their screens flash uncertain readings, targets multiplying, fading, reappearing. Binzhou 515 and Henyang 568 adjust formation, closing the gap. The trap tightens, but their sensors start to betray them. The captain finally gives the word. Deploy decoys. Small capsules eject silently from the sub's hull, drifting into the black. Seconds later, They emit faint pulses, false signatures that mimic the submarine sound. To the Chinese sonar, it looks like Missouri just split into three. Multiple contacts detected, one Chinese operator reports. Confusion ripples through the formation. Destroyers pivot. Sonar buoys realign. The perfect ring begins to twist. Deep below, Missouri turns 30 degrees south-southeast, sliding along the edge of the acoustic shadow toward open water. The captain's voice is calm. Stay in the layer. Keep quiet. Let their noise work against them. Every man aboard knows what's at stake. One noise spike, one wrong move, and 6 warships will rain rockets into the sea. But for now, Missouri is winning the oldest duel of the deep. Silence versus sound. 4:31 a.m., the chase tightens. The Chinese fleet regains formation. Frustration hardening into aggression. Nanchang 101 switches to full active sonar, blasting pulses so strong they rattle the seafloor. Each wave slams into the thermal layer above Missouri, echoing like thunder in a sealed room. Range decreasing, sonar reports. They're sweeping deeper. Inside the sub, everyone feels it, the hum in the steel, the vibration in their ribs. 6 warships up there, 1 submarine down here. If they get pinned, this turns into an international crisis within a minute. The captain keeps his eyes on the display. They think we're north, he says quietly. We stay south. But Missouri's space is shrinking. The seabed rises ahead, and warmer layers above cut off escape routes. One wrong turn, and the sub could scrape rock or drift into a clear sonar cone with nowhere to hide. Then a new sound. Metallic bursts echo through the water. Winan 123 just launched you 8 anti-submarine rockets not to kill, but to scare. The charges detonate above, shaking the hull. The crew braces. It's a message. We can hit you anytime. The captain's voice cuts through. They're trying to make us panic, don't bite! Outside, the noise turns brutal. 6 ships pound the ocean in rhythm. Sonar waves colliding until the deep becomes a storm of echoes, messy enough to hide in, messy enough to die in. Missouri hugs the seabed, gliding slow, every inch measured to stay quiet. Contact, bearing 210, fast approach. The sonar tech whispers. A sharp spike glows on the screen. The room goes still. Could be a decoy, the weapons officer says, or a real torpedo. Hold steady, the captain replies. Seconds drag. The spike flickers, then fades. False alarm. A quiet breath moves through the control room. But nobody relaxes next time. It might not fade. Above, the Chinese ships drop more sonar buoys, tightening the net. The sea becomes a battlefield of pressure and patience, each side daring the other to move first. If you were down here, would you stay invisible or strike first? Press 1 if you'd launch before they close in, or 9 if you'd wait and outlast the hunt. 4:39 a.m., the silence breaks again. A sharp pulse cuts through the deep. The sonar officer freezes. New signature, not a surface ship. The captain leans closer. The trace moves fast and deep, but the pattern is strange. Torpedo? Someone asks. The signal's too loud, too erratic. Then it clicks, not a torpedo, but a swarm. Suzhou 620, the small Chinese corvette, has released underwater drones, mini sub-hunters working together, each using active sonar to scan the depths like a hive of metal bees. For the first time, Missouri is cornered. The swarm adapts to every sound, ignoring decoys and closing fast. Bright dots bloom across the sonar screen left, right ahead, forming a tightening web. The captain's voice stays calm. We use their sonar against them. The plan is simple. Launch one countermeasure to mimic a system's failure. Make it loud, messy, believable. Ready countermeasure alpha, the weapons officer says. Set delay 5 seconds. Do it. A soft clank echoes through the hull. 5 seconds later, the ocean erupts with a heavy pulse, the sound of a crippled submarine. The Chinese drones react instantly, surging toward the decoy like sharks to blood. In that chaos, Missouri drops lower, slipping into the coldest layer of water, the deep shadow zone where sonar bends and sight dies. The swarm races overhead, chasing ghosts. But the move does more than save them. The Chinese ships now hear their own swarm's echoes bouncing back, confusing their sensors. Dozens of false readings flood their screens. On Nanchang's bridge, chaos takes over: phantom contacts, scrambled signals, broken coordination. And somewhere in that storm of sound and confusion, the American submarine disappears completely. 4:47 a.m. Total silence. The Chinese formation slows, unsure if the target still exists. Their sonar nets show a dozen phantom blips, fading in and out like ghosts. On Nanchang, officers argue over which contact is real. Depth 900, reports Helm. The captain studies the fading sonar pings above. They've lost us. Then he adds, but they don't know it yet. Above, the destroyers begin sweeping in random arcs, firing new sonar bursts to flush the deep. The ocean lights up with sound and gives Missouri exactly what it needs. In the torpedo room, crew members ready a single training round to Mach 48 inert torpedo. No warhead, just guidance and a flare charge. Its only purpose, to send a message. Tube 1 ready, the weapons officer says. Open outer door, the captain replies. Hydraulics hiss softly. The ocean waits. Fire! A muted thump, then the torpedo slides into the black. It streaks upward, tracing through the cold layers like a silver phantom. The sub turns away immediately, diving to mask its trail. On Nanchang's sonar, the return spike hits hard, fast, direct, undeniable. The contact appears just 800 yards off the bow. Then a flare ignites underwater, glowing blue through the darkness. A torpedo, but not a real one. A warning. Panic ripples through the bridge. Torpedo inbound, someone yells. Evasive maneuvers. But seconds later they realize, no detonation, no impact, just light, sound, and silence. The message is clear: Missouri could have hit them, but chose not to. Up in the command tower, the captain of Nanchang grips the railing, face pale in the red glow. His screen shows nothing now. The American sub is gone. The sea, once filled with sonar and fury, is empty again. Below, Missouri's captain breaks the silence. That should settle it, he says. Around him, the crew exhales in quiet disbelief. They've not only escaped, they've won without firing a single live round. Across the radio net, the Chinese fleet begins to withdraw. Engines fade, sonar pings stop. The South China Sea returns to calm, though everyone on board knows this calm won't last. If you were the captain, would you have fired for real or sent the same silent message? Press 1 if you'd strike, or 9 if you'd let silence speak for you. By dawn, the South China Sea is calm again, too calm. The Chinese warships drift miles apart, their formation broken, their sonar operators exhausted. Reports from Nanchang confirm no contact. Officially, the encounter never happened. But inside the U.S. Navy's Pacific Command, the data tells a different story. USS Missouri not only escaped it, rewrote the playbook. One submarine alone had neutralized 6 surface ships without firing a single weapon. In military terms, it's a silent victory. In political terms, it's a message. Technology, patience, and precision can beat numbers and noise. For the next 2 weeks, Chinese naval patrols pull back, operating farther from the central sea lanes. Satellite imagery shows new caution. Meanwhile, Japan, the Philippines, and Australia quietly increase joint patrols with the U.S., reinforcing the idea that underwater dominance still belongs to America. Inside the Pentagon, analysts call it the Vanishing Hunter Incident. No damage, no casualties, but a seismic shift in confidence. The phrase stealth over mass becomes a headline across defense circles. For U.S. allies, it's proof that a single sub can hold an entire fleet at bay. For Beijing, it's a reminder that control of the sea isn't declared, it's earned. Down in the crew quarters, sailors of Missouri watch the sunrise through the periscope camera, gold light spilling across a sea that almost became their grave. No cheers, no noise, just quiet pride. They know what they pulled off will be studied for years. The captain records his final log entry. Mission complete. No losses, no contact, no proof, only the silence we left behind. That silence, more powerful than any detonation, echoes through the region. And somewhere out there, The next move is already being planned. Not louder, just smarter. Would you bet on stealth or strength in the next standoff? Press 1 if you trust silence, or 9 if you believe power must always speak first. It's 5:30 a.m., the 18th of July 2025. Night clings to the Taiwan Strait, a narrow ribbon of water where the world's nerves live close to the surface. On JS Maya, DDG-179, radar scopes bloom with returns, merchant ships on the lane, fishing boats drifting, and 2 hard, fast tracks pushing in from the west. The bridge is quiet, practiced. Orders move in short words. Helm holds a steady course along the international route. In the Combat Information Center, green light washes over faces as operators call ranges and bearings. A Chinese destroyer's silhouette slides out of the dark. Type 052D, its deck lights stark, its mast alive with sensors. A Type 54 amperes frigate follows, closer than comfort. Loudspeakers ready. Maya's navigation lights burn constant. The ship answers with a clear radio call, lawful passage. From the loudhailer behind, a spray-white China Coast Guard 3901 class prowls across the lane, her hoses glinting. Then another voice breaks in on VHF flat. Calm. American. United States Navy warship. Northbound. The geometry tightens. 3 flags, 1 narrow strait. If anyone misreads a signal now, steel meets steel, and the headlines write themselves. The Taiwan Strait is only about 70 nautical miles wide at its narrowest point. For outsiders, it may look like just another stretch of water, but for Asia and the world, it is a lifeline. Every day, tankers and cargo ships thread this narrow passage, carrying fuel, microchips, and consumer goods. If traffic stops here, factories slow, shelves empty, and prices climb across the globe. That is why warships watch this lane so closely. For Japan, the decision to send JS Maya northbound is more than navigation, it is about credibility. Tokyo wants to prove that its navy can operate alongside the US, not just behind it. For Washington, the appearance of the USS Preble from the opposite end of the strait is no accident. Together, the Allies are staging what sailors call a freedom of navigation operation, a deliberate transit meant to show that these waters remain open to all nations under international law. On the Chinese side, the motive is equally clear. Beijing claims these waters as its own, dismissing the idea of an international strait. Its destroyer and frigate are not just patrolling, they are performing, making sure the world sees that any foreign presence will be challenged. To back them up, the Coast Guard and even civilian fishing vessels are drawn into the dance, blurring the line between law enforcement, militia, and Navy. This is what makes the morning of the 18th of September so volatile. One side insists on international rules, the other asserts national sovereignty. Neither can back down without losing face, and neither can push too far without risking collision or worse. Commanders on all 3 bridges know it. One wrong helm order, one misread radar lock, and suddenly the standoff becomes an international crisis. For sailors, the tension is not abstract. It is the risk of steel on steel, missile against missile, lives hanging on judgment calls in seconds. For governments, it is the balance between deterrence and provocation, a tightrope act played out in front of the cameras. And for you watching, it raises a simple but powerful question. If you were on the bridge of JS Maya, would you hold course to prove your right of passage, or turn aside to avoid a clash? Comment 1 for hold course, 9 for turn, and don't forget to subscribe for the next chapter of this unfolding story. On one side sails Japan's JS Maya, a modern Aegis destroyer built to shield fleets and cities. Its heart is a powerful radar able to see threats hundreds of miles away, linked to vertical launch cells that can fire surface-to-air missiles, anti-sub rockets, or interceptors against ballistic weapons. On deck sits a 5-inch gun for surface duels, and tucked aft, a helicopter hangar with a Seahawk ready to lift off. Maya is not the largest ship in the Pacific, but it is among the most capable, designed to stand in the line when things get dangerous. Facing her across the lane is China's Type 052D destroyer, bristling with long-range missiles. Its combat system mirrors the American and Japanese style, with phased array radar sweeping the skies and vertical launch cells ready for salvos. Alongside, it runs a Type 54 Ampere frigate, smaller but agile, with its own mix of anti-air and anti-ship missiles. To add pressure, a Zhaotu-class Coast Guard cutter trails close, carrying a water cannon and deck gun, projecting Beijing's claim that these waters are its own. From the north comes the USS Preble, an American Arleigh Burke-class destroyer. Its weapons are nearly twin to Maya's: interceptors, Tomahawk missiles, close-in defense guns, and a Seahawk helicopter. Its electronic warfare gear can jam radars and mislead missiles in the final seconds of flight. The U.S. presence is both a reassurance to allies and a direct signal to China. America will not leave partners alone in this contest. All three ships carry trained crews drilled to handle these tense moments. Radios keep crackling, engines hold steady revolutions. But beneath the calm, every sailor knows what is at stake: national pride, deterrence, and the line between warning and war. And that is where you come in. If you think Japan and the US combined can outweigh China's numbers, press 1. If you believe Beijing's sheer persistence makes it stronger here, press 9. And of course, subscribe to follow how this standoff unfolds in the next moves. By 6:15 a.m., the situation hardens. The Type 54 Ampere frigate swings closer to JS Maya, closing the gap to barely 1,000 meters. Its loudspeaker booms in Mandarin, demanding the Japanese ship leave what it calls Chinese territorial seas. On Maya's bridge, officers remain stone-faced. Their reply is steady: this is an international waterway, and the ship will continue lawful passage. A coded signal light flashes, reinforcing the message without raising the temperature. Meanwhile, the Zhaotu-class Coast Guard cutter turns its hoses toward Taiwanese fishing boats trailing behind Maya. Arcs of water lash small decks, forcing trawlers to sheer away. To the Japanese crew, it is a reminder the encounter is more than warship against warship. Civilians are caught in the middle, and Beijing is using every lever at once. Minutes later, the O-52D destroyer sharpens the tension. It alters course deliberately, cutting across Maya's bow at less than 500 yards, close enough that the wake slaps against the hull. The maneuver is dangerous, a show of force that risks collision. On Maya's deck, the whistle shrieks 5 short blasts, the universal danger signal, but the ship holds its line. Inside the Combat Information Center, operators track the Chinese vessel, fingers near fire control consoles. Still, the captain resists arming weapons. The rules of engagement are clear: defensive action only if locked by hostile radar or fired upon. The standoff stretches. Every ship now broadcasts position reports, not just to each other, but to the world. Civilian tracking networks pick up the movements, and the drama spreads across social media in real time. Far from the strait, in Tokyo, Washington, and Beijing, officials' phones buzz with urgent updates. For sailors, none of that matters. What counts is the next turn of a rudder, the next tone in a headset, the next blip on radar. At 7 a.m., a new factor enters. From the north, USS Preble, DDG-88, makes its approach, closing the geometry into a tense triangle. Its captain calls on VHF, voice calm but edged. United States Navy warship conducting lawful passage. Any attempt to endanger navigation will be documented. The message is both reassurance and warning. On the Chinese bridge, officers exchange sharp glances. The game has shifted. Instead of isolating a Japanese destroyer, they now face a combined US-Japan presence. The triangle locks into place. Maya on one leg, Preble on another, and the Chinese O-52D anchoring the third. Inside this narrow strait, every helm order is magnified, every radio call a potential spark. Engines rumble, sailors scan through binoculars, and radar beams sweep harder. The risk of miscalculation climbs with every passing minute. In these moments, escalation is not about missiles flying, it is about perception, resolve, and the thin line between intimidation and accident. One aggressive turn could trigger a chain reaction no one can stop. For crews on deck, the choice is stark. Maintain discipline and endure the pressure, or risk a move history will record as the first shot of a new crisis in Asia. The minutes after 7:05 a.m. stretch into the most dangerous sequence yet. The Type 052D destroyer swings wide, then turns sharply, cutting back toward Maya's course. Distance shrinks, 400 yards, then 350. The Japanese bridge crew braces for impact. Every order is clipped, calm, drilled into muscle memory. Steady course. Engines maintain speed. The destroyer refuses to yield. On Maya's deck, sailors clutch railings as the Chinese hull looms larger. In the Combat Information Center, the radar operator calls out. The enemy's fire control radar is sweeping harder, skimming just short of a lock. One more step, and it could be read as hostile intent. The Japanese captain's hand hovers near the weapons release key, but holds. The mission is freedom of navigation, not escalation. Suddenly, the Type 54 Ampere frigate makes its own move. It alters course to pass across Maya's stern, leaving only 300 yards of clearance. The narrow lane becomes a trap. The water churns as wakes overlap, buffeting the Japanese destroyer. Whistles blare, and 5 short blasts cry again across the strait. On Maya's deck, the 5-inch gun is manned, ammunition ready. The phalanx whirs, spinning up, but not firing. From the north, USS Preble reacts. Its captain orders the MH-60R Seahawk airborne. The helicopter rises, cameras rolling, transmitting every frame to higher command. Over the radio comes a firm declaration. Unsafe maneuvers recorded. Responsibility will be clear. The presence of the American aircraft changes the geometry China knows. Every aggressive step is now documented and broadcast beyond the strait. Yet tension only spikes higher. The O-52D's missiles are reported hot, hatches powered, and systems awake. Maya answers by bringing a pair of SM-2 interceptors online in its vertical launch cells. Preble does the same with ESSMs. For a moment, the triangle of steel is balanced on a knife edge. One radar lock, one misfire, and salvos could cross the sky within seconds. On deck, sailors stare at the opposing bridge through binoculars, close enough to see figures in uniform. Engines thrum, horns blast, and water foams as 3 great hulls circle within a strait, too narrow for comfort. For the men and women aboard, it is not theory. It is the split-second reality of steel, fire, and lives in the balance. The standoff teeters. And here's where you step in. If you were commanding JS Maya, would you hold course to prove your right of passage, press 1, or yield to avoid collision, press 9? Either way, subscribe so you don't miss how this clash resolves in the final act. By 7:40 a.m., the crisis eases. Orders ripple through the Chinese formation. The O-52D destroyer steadies its helm and pulls away, opening distance to over 2 nautical miles. The 54 Ampere frigate follows, sliding back into line. The Coast Guard cutter throttles down, no longer spraying its hoses. The geometry that had pressed so tight begins to stretch, giving every ship breathing room. On JS Maya, tension is still thick, but sailors exhale for the first time in an hour. Damage control teams sweep decks, checking for stress or collision marks. In the CIC, operators keep tracking every contact, knowing the shadowing will continue. Over the intercom, the captain's voice is measured. Transit continues, mission intact. The destroyer has held course. For the Americans on USS Preble, the outcome is just as important. By arriving from the north and standing firm, the ship showed that the US will not leave allies isolated. The presence of the helicopter recording every maneuver ensured the encounter could not be denied. For Beijing, the retreat is not defeat, but recognition. The cost of pressing further could have triggered an accident with 2 opponents at once. Beyond the strait, the meaning is larger. For Tokyo, this proves its navy can stand in contested waters without Washington taking the first step. For the US, it reaffirms commitment and deters attempts to squeeze partners. For China, it is a reminder that pressure carries risks, and staged shows of force can backfire. The Taiwan Strait remains a choke point where trade, military power, and pride intersect. A single near miss can ripple into diplomacy, markets, and security across the Pacific. That morning, the 3 navies stepped back from the brink. The next encounter may not end as calmly. Closing question. Did Japan and the US send the stronger signal by standing firm, press 1? Or did China prove persistence is its own power, press 9? Either way, subscribe now to see how the next standoff unfolds in the skies above the East China Sea.